morning. Good morning. It's 2:32 a.m. There's no better way to start a Monday morning than on my way to the gym to get my body ready for what the day's getting ready to throw at me. We were coming back from just a little excursion this weekend, and I was sitting in the passenger seat and I was thinking about how my week had went and what I have planned, what I'm doing, future plans, etc. And I was thinking about right now I'm setting up my corporation, and I'm sitting down with estate planners, and I'm speaking to life insurance people about policies, and stockbrokers down at Edward Jones, tax preparers. And I'm sitting in here and I'm thinking, I've done this before. I've done this before. I've maybe not to the extent of life insurance, maybe not to the extent of sitting down with somebody, but I've played the stock market. I've had tax preparers and tax representation. I've done that. But I said, but this feels a little bit different. This feels like you really got it, right? Because there's nothing worse in this life than to had and lost, than to have again and lose it again. So I started analyzing my finances, started looking at things, and I started putting everything in proper perspective. And I said, if I get it again, I won't lose it. So many times you get something and you lose it, and the story you start telling yourself is that it just wasn't meant for me, so that's why I don't have it anymore. And that's a real dangerous story to tell yourself, because the fact of the matter is it's not that it wasn't for you. It's simply that you didn't know what you were doing. So anytime you don't know what you're doing, things have a tendency to slip through the fingers of the cracks. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking that rather than feed myself the fact that I don't deserve it, I started thinking about all the times with finances I just did the wrong thing with it. Now, trust me, I was fairly responsible with my finances. I remember I invested in a timeshare, paid cash. I invested in my first house. I had money in stocks, savings, but I played real safe. There was a huge amount of scarcity inside of me. There was no room inside of me for leverage. So now, as I'm still thinking, well, if you've done some of this stuff already and you managed to find yourself in financial predicaments, why? You see, these reflections and these times to sit there and think, they start bringing up the real reason. See, it's easy to just go through a thought and simply discredit yourself as not being worthy of it not being for you, and then move on, because that's the easiest thing to do. Now, what's hard to do is sit back and take some responsibility, so maybe where on the level you just didn't handle things correctly. So I said it wasn't that I didn't do the right thing. It's I had a scarcity mindset. I had the mindset that there wasn't enough. I had the mindset, instead of adding more to it, I took what I had and I just buried it in the ground, and I safely monitored it and went back every day and dug it up, made sure it was still there, and covered it back up. And I monitored it. And sometimes being scarce, acting like there's not enough, is just as bad as doing the wrong thing with it. Because there's no faith to put it somewhere, put it in the ground, and watch it multiply. There's no faith to sow into the ground and watch that seed come back and multiply. Right? I don't think that when I say I don't believe that any opportunity is one and done. I think we convince ourselves to believe that we're just not worthy. We use a word called luck, and when luck doesn't come our way, then luck doesn't return another day. Never once considering you just didn't do it right the first time. So I started praying, and I just simply asked God, let me do it right this time. Let me not miss my opportunity this time. Let it not slip through my fingertips. What do? It was funny because he came back and he said, you got to give more. God came back and said, you got to give more. I said, what? I said, more money? He said, no, more of yourself. More time. Just give more. Too often we think that our finances and our wealth are directly attached or tied to what it is that we make, monetary. But I'll tell you, it's attached to what you believe. It's attached to what you think. It's attached to what you give. And it's attached to how you believe. And all those things must be in line. So that's why when I sit down with my tax preparer, I'm knowledgeable. And all I hear him say is, give. That's why when I sit down with my broker who's handling the life insurance, he says, pay more in. Because your family will be taken care of when you're not here. And God knows who at that time when I'm not here needs it. Because I believe everything happens in the right season. And just as I'm gone, somebody's going to need it. Just when I sit down and talk to my investment broker, Inside the church, give more. Inside my real estate brokerage, give more. You're not making no progress because you're not giving more. You're not giving more of an effort. You're not giving more of a donation. You're not giving more thought. You're not giving more consideration. You're not getting anywhere because you think that there's not enough to give. So you hold back. And when you hold back, God holds back. Because when you don't want to give more, what you're telling everybody is that you're not able, willing, or ready to receive more. And that's something you have to fix.